Okay, so Historic is still a relatively new format. That being said, this archetype is one of the 2 decks in the Proven Archetypes section on my website. I like this variation. It had success in one of the early Hoglandi Opens. It had success in a couple of the other community tournaments. I think this deck is a very good proactive game plan. So we've got at the core a red-black aggro deck here with a small blue splash for Nicol Bolas the Ravager as both an evasive threat as well as a card that lets us go a little bit long against mid-range and control decks. We can pay to flip this in some of the longer games, which is why we play Splash for this card as opposed for playing something like Spawn of Mayhem. This card not hurting us like Spawn of Mayhem also lets us play defense with it nicer as well. The big gain, these black aggressive decks gain from Amonkhet Remastered is Thoughtseize here. So before we played Agonizing Remorse, we still have a couple of these in the sideboard. When we want more than 4 discard spells, but the fact that this is a 1 mana spell is huge because as you can see our curve's very thick on 2 and we don't have that many 1s. So being able to play more 1 mana spells nicely lets us curve out elegantly, which is nice. So let's go ahead and pop out into some games here with this and see how it goes. Yep, and sounds great. Okay, we played against this archetype a couple of times yesterday, and it seemed really sweet when we did then. Have not played against it yet today. I'm going to open on Thoughtseize rather than Knight. Alright, we're going to see if we can catch them with their hand in the cookie jar and take their village rights here. Strand them on mana. Never lucky, chat. Never lucky. Yes, Shockland plus Thoughtseize lets your Knight of the Ebon Legion level up too, which is sweet. Yeah, we played Green-Red Hellrider aggro earlier today. It was quite fantastic. We've actually had just like, this is our 4th deck today, and I think all 3 of the ones we already played were like all contenders for deck of the day. It's going to be hard to sort them out. I'll probably be biased and pick Blue-Red Wizards because I love that. That deck has a special place in my heart. We're playing 5 decks today. Maybe I'll pick 2 decks of the day since we're playing 5 decks today. We have 2 pretty good cards here. Okay, quick choice on their part. That puts the 6th card in my bin here as well, which means I get to escape Kroxa next turn, which is great. Maximize velocity, that's cute. So like, yeah, I get to escape this, and then like I get to put Embercleave on it next turn. So, this isn't my opponent's hand. All of this is their graveyard. I think that might be fine, 10-ton hammer. I don't know, 4 versus 5 is a big deal in terms of mana. But I definitely think it's probably worth exploring this archetype as just a 2-color deck. How long I plan to stream tonight and tomorrow? Tomorrow is going to be a shorter stream, like 5 hours tops. And tonight we're probably going to be going for another 3. Alright, dear opponent, please don't draw claim. Please don't draw claim the firstborn. No whammy. No whammy. No whammy. No whammy. No whammy. One crot. Thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. They don't play claim. Well, that's good for us. This is definitely a matchup where I want to bring in all of my removal spells, I think. Ashiok is excellent against their graveyard synergy deck. I think this might actually be a Thoughtseize out matchup. In general, I would tell people to shy away from making assumptions about cards you expect your opponent's deck to be playing or not be playing early on in the format like this. Like usually, generally speaking, there's going to be a lot of variation in things people try. I think trimming Embercleave is right. Actually, Regisaur is probably not great, huh? Because, like, there's a good chance I end up playing defense in some positions, and Young Pyromancer just gums up the board on this, right? And that makes Embercleave better, Young Pyromancer tokens. Okay, yeah, I'm going to keep one Regisaur and keep all of these. Maybe I'm not supposed to attack in here because if they have, actually, I think I screwed up this whole turn. They're gonna like discard a 2-drop and then they're gonna go land. They're like discard a 2-mana creature. They're gonna play land. They're gonna play the reanimate spell and like get back the 2-drop and make a 5/5. Oh, yeah, they just get to claim this. God, it's so good. All right, well, speaking of good, that's great. I think I'm just passing for now. I don't think I want to attack in and give them this. Yeah, this game seems really sweet. I think I'm gonna retool. We built a red-black Pyromancer deck and did updates to it on stream the other day, but I think I'm gonna retool it to be something closer to this with Claim Fame and Archfiend's Vessel. Seems like a much more interesting axis to be fighting on. So kind of punished for not attacking last turn. Yeah, like this is just like incredible, right? Just like 3 mana, make a 5/5, smack you for 7. Maybe I want some more hard removal in my sideboard. This is an incredible draw. It not only clears out their graveyard, but it fills ours for Kroxa. The fact that this is like an enabler that makes our Kroxas and Phoenixes better while also being simultaneous hate card is fantastic. Just super, super powerful. Yeah, the cheeky Witch's Vengeance for Goblins might be better as another piece of hard removal. Yeah, you target yourself. So the way Ashiok is templated, your opponent's graveyard always gets exiled. So the reason why we have Ashioks in the main deck is because they mill ourselves and they draw us into Kroxa and Phoenix of the Ash. So that's why if you look at our deck list, there's 2 in the main deck. Because Ashiok basically reads draw cards. It draws us, draw Kroxas, draw Phoenix of Ash. Hey, Simon Lottie, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hooglandia. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Going to escape this before I minus my Ashiok, so that way I can exile whatever they're escaping. Yeah, Phoenix of the Ashiok. Really? We're attacking me. Okay, sure. Yeah, randomly hoses, Ashiok randomly hoses things like, Hour of Devastation, and other search effects like that, which is great. Yeah, randomly gets their Fabled Passages too. The long pause after a Fabled Passage fails to search when Ashiok's in play is always incredibly satisfying.
This is my masterpiece.
Great. That gets us a counter on our Knight of the Ebon Legion here, which is great. This game should mostly be done at this point. Feels like. Unless they have like a Claim the Firstborn to draw too, it feels like we've been in garbage time for a little bit here. Our escape creatures. The thing I just did. The logic is you want these. Unless they draw a piece of graveyard hate, we just have, like, endless Kroxas here. Alright, that could be the start of a comeback story for them. They have a good set of draws here. Those do not seem like a good set of draws. That to block here as well, right? feel like they probably don't have a series of draws from there. Alright, chat. Final boss. Can we be a mythic gamer? I think we've been here 2 or 3 times today. Not that we're particularly worried about it. I keep jinxing it. I mean, like, this is a good deck to be playing a final boss with. I think our deck's super reasonable. Good linear game plan, touch of interaction. GPG stands for God Pharaoh's Gift. If you're ever wondering what an upcoming deck list is that's listed in the stream title, you can always check it out by typing !deck in chat and checking out the deck queue on my website. Grixis Gates feels a little bit bad, but I think this is keepable on the play. We've got, I've got Deceiver Exarch and Splinter Twin. It's hard to mulligan. Could be red-white aggro, could be a feather deck. Looks like feather. This could be too slow here. The fact that I didn't have a Regisaur on 3 and I won't have it till 4. Depends on how good the rest of their draw is here. I think the rank ladder would be a better, more competitive product if you're able to see your opponent's deck list or bring it closer to tournament kind of gameplay in the FNM style where you don't know what your opponent's on. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty in favor of open deck lists always, though. Do I block here? Probably not. I think I just go to 10, right? If they have Reckless Rage plus a protection spell here, I get sad. If they just save their thing, that's fine. Sure. Okay. You definitely do not have to be Grixis Grot. Customize and tweak as you will. They're scared, chat. They're scared. Liebert, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. They have 2 Reckless Rages here. It's going to make me sad I didn't Thoughtseize. They have 2 Reckless Rages. I'm surprised they didn't attack last turn. Wow, they do. Oh, just Shock. Okay. Okay, yeah, I guess I'm still sad I didn't Thoughtseize. Okay, so we need an untapped land here so we can play Nicol Bolas. I guess we're just passing. So, our lands were awkward to start, but the fact that we, like, never drew a land past the first 3 in our opener hasn't helped us at all. I think we probably would have been competitive this game if we would have drawn a 4th land by turn, I don't know, 5. Yeah, that's just how Magic goes, right? Win them all. They have, like, a 3rd Shock. 4th Reckless Rage, 3rd Reckless Rage. Fair. Yep. So protection means we can't block. So it's a fun, interesting, interactive mechanic. Definitely good thing to have brought back into Magic. Okay, so they generally play a Danto Vanguard, so Disfigure is good. Heartless Act is fine. I don't know if Abrade is good enough. Thoughtseize is definitely great for punching through their ability to protect their things. Ashiok and Kroxa both seem kind of slow here, so maybe I do bring in the Abrades. I think I like that. Dread Menace, thanks for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. They can bring back Landwalk. Aren't we all Planeswalkers? I can see Witch's Vengeance being cute. Nah, they're definitely not an Embercleave deck. Disfigure gets better if they're playing Soulscar Mage. Are we playing Shadowless Shadow? I mean, we're playing an aggro deck. You have a Shock here as well. It's another Defiant Strike, sure. I think we play Phoenix here. We miss out on the counter on Knight, but this way if they don't kill the Knight, I get to cleave them next turn. That's an interesting one. Is Great Hen still to win more post-F? Yeah, I think so. I think if you want to play an aggro deck and you want card advantage in it, you should probably just play like Collect a Company. I'm going to put this on Phoenix here, because I'd rather this get shocked than this get shocked. I'd rather nothing get shocked, but if anything is getting shocked, I'd prefer it be Phoenix Dash. Yeah, probably Leapert. In terms of forward thinking, I'm probably better off. My Shocklands were sequencing correctly because of the Phoenix in my hand. Agreed. I think can't just go with Regisaur. I think it's still just slow and clunky. I think a lot of the time you'd rather just be killing them. Why play Henge with Regisaur when you can just, like, put Cleave on Regisaur? I mean, you should be able to do that pretty easily yourself, right, Bluefire? It's pretty relatively straightforward to compare deck lists. Like, Stream Decker even has, like, the number of rare and mythic wildcards things cost on the site. I think one of the websites too, there's a tool that integrates with your, I don't remember which one it is offhand, but I think there's one that integrates and, like, looks at your collection and tells you how close you are to building certain decks too, as an automated tool. Yeah, I feel like there aren't enough people playing Cleave in this format at this point. Arena Pro. Yeah, that sounds like a name I recall. All right, game 3, chat. Final boss, game 3. Turn 1, Thoughtseize. Let's do it. Opponent mulligan. Turn 1, go to 5. Mulligan to 5. Mulligan to 5. Rats, chat. Don't be too proud to beat someone when they mulligan, chat. This is Magic the Gathering. Oh, that's perfect. Hopefully they play a 2-drop and we get to Abrade it. Just curve right on out. Nailed it. Goodbye, friend. Champagne, lollipops, and rainbow. Connect the dots and do. I'm a giver, so here's a target for you to cast your Defiant Strike on. Because I'm a pal. I'm a friend. Scarab God in this set. It is! We played blue-black Scarab God mid-range yesterday on stream. Now, unfortunately, with this pesky Adanto Vanguard, Regisaur only attacks for 4. It is what it is. Live. To slam old Nikki B here. Imagine if these Nicol Bolas's were Glory Bringers. People were talking about that earlier. I think if you want to cut the blue splash out of this deck, you don't like Nicol Bolas because you're evil. Because you're boring, because you don't like Nicol Bolas. I think I would recommend playing Spawn of Mayhem. However, I like Nicol Bolas, and I think it's ideal. Unfortunately, we don't have red for Cleave here. Yeah, this costing 4 is a big deal. Okay, so they're going to 8 here. This draws them cards, just gives them protection. How often do you flip Bolas? Not super often, but it does happen on occasion. There are some matchups where you, like, take a kind... Against other aggressive decks, you sometimes take a bigger role and, like, do a lot of blocking, play defense. And those are the games where you flip Nick, on average. Cleave? Cleave? That's fine. Gives us another Nicol Bolas to play out after we... Did they draw Reckless Rage? Don't you dare. Don't you dare draw Reckless Rage. If they draw Reckless Rage, we could lose, chat. If they draw Reckless Rage, we could lose. That is Bolas number 4. I mean, I'm gonna have to discard this anyways, right? So I should play it out. Worth noting, if these had been Spawn of Mayhems, I would have had multiple of them in play, right? Cleaver Doomblade, Cleaver Doomblade, Cleaver Doomblade. That's true. That's true. Nicol Bolas did make them discard stuff that was relevant. It's very, very true. I don't know what this last one did, but we need to fade God's Willing, and if they draw God's Willing or their indestructible spell here, could also be in trouble. Opponent's definitely not out of this. Like, they drew enough cards with their feather that they could realistically be in this game still. Maybe I'm not supposed to board out my Kroxas. They bottomed their Scry. So that's nice. If they have a Shocker or Rage, they can kill Regisaur here. Yes! Mythic Gamer! Does this mean I'm a professional Magic the Gathering player now, chat? Are we a professional? Can I put it on my resume? 98% Mythic Gamer. Ooh, I really like that idea. We played that earlier, and I didn't think about it when we were building this. When I get some Earthshakers in here, I don't know that I want to cut Phoenix, but I'm like kind of into Earthshaker Khenra. Earthshaker Khenra was like really good when we played it earlier. We played her in the... We played Khenra in the Hellrider deck earlier. And it was fantastic. I don't know what I want to cut, though. This list feels so tight. The list just feels so tight, chat. Hey, Jabanu, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I'm pretty new to Historic. Can you explain why main deck Ashiok's a thing? So, main deck Mr. Polite. Thank you for the sub-gifties. I appreciate it. So again, for people that weren't here earlier, Ashiok is main deckable in this deck because Ashiok draws us into these. We mill ourselves with Ashiok, which finds us things to escape, which is actually a reason to play Earthshaker Khenra too, because Earthshaker Khenra is another card we can draw with Ashiok, which is nice. Are we supposed to just be red-black aggro? Is that the sad truth? I feel like I'm gonna clone this for a second. What if, for the sake of playing new cards, Nicol Bolas, no! I mean, it hurts, but it's like probably right? So like you could do something like this. I cut a land. I cut 2 lands. I went down to 23 lands. Oh yeah, you get to play Ramunap Ruins. Yeah, that's gotta be right. Yeah, you get to play Ramunap Ruins if you're only 2 colors. Runes has been good. We played Runes in Green Red earlier today. It was great. What's my code? Jeff 5 is my cool stuffing code. Yeah, I think I like this. Let's try this. Let's try red black aggro. Yeah, I'm updating the stream decker now. Once again, proving that Grixis is garbage. Poor Grixis. I think I can look at that. Yeah, that seems great. Bottom. I mean, like, the person that donated for Grixis, when I make changes to decks, I just try not to change the archetype, and, like, this is still basically the same archetype that was submitted. Like, the other deck was barely Grixis. We had a playable Grixis deck, and it was beautiful. Gosh, would even blue-white control gets to play turn 3 Wrath of God. Yuck.
Keep an open mind.
Nah, I don't think so. I filled Earthshaker Khenra in Nicol Bolas' slot, which I think is correct. I think it's right to give up the Phoenix of Ash, the seal away there, so I can kill the Narset before it draws another card. If we're a skilled magician, this Mire Triton will flip over an escape creature. Although I guess I don't have that many things in my bed at the moment. But I'm gonna cycle this Mind Stone, spin them tires, baby. Alright, so even an untapped land here is nice, because it lets us cleave this. It's nice when all of your... And that's one of the sweet things that, like, Earthshaker Khenra does for this archetype. Like, basically, all of our draws are good, right? Like, here, spells are good draws, but, like, also, Earthshaker Khenra makes a land a good draw. Sure, Censor me. And, like, Censor's the type of card where, like, you shouldn't feel bad running into it, because if you play slowly and, like, give them... If you play behind to play around Censor, they're just gonna cycle it. So, like, you shouldn't feel bad about playing into Censor. It's generally speaking optimal to play into it. I think we're gonna lose to this Narset finding Approach the Second Sun, huh? Feels bad, man. Yup. Zero outer? I think we're on the zero outer. Thoughtseize would have let us win there, right? Potentially. Magic 2020, when even blue-white control is a ramp deck. So Bonecrusher and Mire Triton are both kind of medium. I guess Mire Triton can draw us threats, technically. I'm bringing a couple of Rampaging Ferocidons to stop some of the life gain. I'm bringing in Ashiok, because not only does Ashiok draw us into these threats, but Ashiok can mill their approach off the top of their deck when we know what's coming up. Blue-white control was always a ramp deck, it just used to do it the slow way. Alright, so, and again, like, this hand has potential to curve out nicely. So, this turn 3 Ashiok likely finds us a Phoenix or a Kroxa for turn 4. Although maybe we just play Phoenix of Ash now? Okay. Look at that. Ashiok drew us a Kroxa, chat. You love to see it. This card has 11 cards that it draws in this deck, which is great. Draws Earthshaker Khenra's to Eternalize, this, and Phoenix. So we're hoping to find another Phoenix here, so that way we can kill this Teferi. Sad. Provokes commenting that chat is not in sub-only. Chat's been out of sub-only mode this week, so non-subs can partake in the raid promotion. Anybody that does me a favor by checking out the sponsor link and playing through the tutorial of raid will get a sub gifted to them so they can chat all the time here. If you haven't done that, I appreciate everybody who does. It's been mixed. I think I'm going to go back to sub-only mode for Magic next week, but I'd like to try and hit the bonus for hitting 175 raid things. Like, having the raid thing going all week gives everybody a chance that wants to chat to, like, be able to chat for a while anyways, so I don't really feel bad turning it back into sub mode, because everybody had a chance to, participate regardless. Want to leave Earthshakers in here, obviously. Hey, Snipery, thanks for the 27 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I'm gonna put this on the bottom because I'd kind of like to draw a land for my Earthshaker Khenras, and this Ashiok is pretty likely to draw us into another Kroxa or Phoenix. I'm gonna put that back on top now because I can Earthshaker plus Phoenix next turn since I drew one.
Let's skip to the good part.
Now, I think putting a bunch of tapped lands in my aggro deck sounds like a bad idea to run. Not a fan. If our opponent tells us to settle down, we're going to concede to the Teferi trigger. Teferi ultimate. Nilovander, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Can a bomb's externalized be countered? Only by things that stop triggered abilities. This is an activated ability. We could have 2 sealaways here as well. Thanks for the tanks, blue-white control player. A bomb and Eternalize are not alternative costs. No, they're activated abilities that you activate from the graveyard. You're not casting a spell. Hey, thank you to whoever just completed the raid tutorial. It just says someone on my thing. Look at that. Keepable 7? What game is this? Certainly not my Magic the Gathering. Khenra looking pretty good here. Utility land looking pretty good. As you will. kind of like to play around Cry of the Canarium here and pump this. So if I play the second Knight out, I don't get a 1/1 counter on my thing, and if they go untap land Cry, I just like lose the game on the spot. So I'd prefer not to do that. Sick. So they're still taking 4 here, so I get to play this and get a counter on it. And like if they even if they have a sweeper here, I've got Ramunap Ruins, Castle, and Earthshaker Khenra as leftovers, which is great. Yeah, attack like this and force the block. Could go either way on this. They go to 7. Nailed it. Some more graveyard value here. I like that this deck is like utilizes the graveyard as like a value part of it, but it's not like the center focus of it. So like if people have graveyard hate, we don't just like end up super sad. Can we just do that? Cut Bonecrusher Giant for some Rampaging Ferocidon, some Agonizing Remorse, click Submit. Maybe I want slightly fewer Embercleaves in this matchup because we're going to be interacting with our stuff a lot. Maybe I want a 4th Ashiok to draw through to our graveyard. Maybe I don't want the 4th Ashiok in the dark because they could have like Rest in Peace or something like that. That could be annoying. Before the stream ends, we're going to be going for a little bit. Mr. Blade, if you didn't see, we had a big donation. I'm going to do a 5th deck after this one. So we've got another 45 minutes of this deck or so, and then we're going to do one more to wrap things up today. Yeah, I think Mire Triton sweet. That was the perfect draw, huh? I think I just take their card advantage here. Well, you see. Nice. It's like a Elvish Visionary, chat. 2/1 Death Touch Elvish Visionary. It drew us a 6 mana spell. I mean, like, if they settle the Wreckage me, I get to draw a bunch. I get to get a bunch of lands, right? No settle. Rats. This deck's really good at utilizing extra mana for a thing. Any Rogue Energy Flavor Reclamation. So I actually don't do energy drinks. They have a Fruit Punch Hydration mix that's very reasonable that I've had, but I don't really do caffeine personally. Like iced tea and chocolate are like the extent of the caffeine I consume. There's a good chance we just lose to the Sascans flipping. It's a damn shame we have 6 lands and none of them are Castle or Ramunap Ruins. Maybe I should be playing more than 2 castles, huh? I can see that. Oh, that's so sad. They're gonna get to cry and exile this so I don't get it back. Yeah, the Eternalized animation is really well done for sure. Kroxa is probably like the best draw in our deck at this point. Stinks ain't bad. They're gonna Heartless Act this, but we'll bring it back next turn. Kroxa! I mean, still at 1,500 viewers is more a testament to the fact that nobody else is streaming on a Friday night. I'll take the compliment though, I suppose. That's been reasonable. Like, almost every deck we've played today has been reasonable, which is good. AHK feels like a great set so far. Absorb. Gross. They're at a point where they get to start drawing with Teferi and using Ascant every turn. Door's going to close real quick here. The fact that we just didn't have any utility lands this game was definitely our downfall. We're a Mythic Pro streamer. We should be more confident. Fair. Okie doke. We have a castle this time through. Everything we wanted. Which non-shock land set is most important to get dual lands? Definitely the buddy lands. Not close. I'm gonna take their card advantage here. I don't think we're gonna be able to play through their removal. I think we want to be able to grind a little bit in this matchup. For sure. I think Abrade is fantastic. I think every red deck should be playing some number of Abrade. If your deck is more fair, you want more Abrades. Most mid-range and control decks that have access to red probably want 3 to 4 Abrades in their 75. It's very good against the Mayhem Devil Citadel deck. Just like does everything you want there. You got it. Did they have 2 cries, or is this bugged? Anybody know? Is this actually cry, or is the revealed cards bugged? They had 2? They had 2? Okay. I appreciate you. He's dead, Jim. You've killed him. Alright, so I get to play this and hold up activation so they can't cry it, and then after their end of their turn, I get to draw with Castle.
If nothing else.
I think anybody telling you they know anything meaningful about statistics regarding this format is either lying to you or trying to sell you something. The format is a day and a half old. Nobody knows what's good, what's bad, what's popular. It's going to take a little bit for things to fully shake out. Okay, so well, they discarded their cry. Okay, I'm gonna send these here. I think it's right to kill their Planeswalker here. I don't know, I could go either way on that. Because if they want to down tick and face something out, it still dies. What's up, youngest son? Excuse you. Are you a piglet? Oh, it stinks. You're very funny. Definitely funny looking. When am I done working? I gotta work late tonight, bud.
When am I gonna be done working?
When am I gonna be done working? Couple hours. 100 hours? Everything's 100 hours when you're 5, right? Maybe I should have sequenced Mire Triton first because I could have hit Phoenix and then attacked with Phoenix. That's a card. Alright, I guess we Ferocidon. I'm on a whole nother level than you, kid. I can still see fine.
See?
Tickle monster! Alright, I think we escape Kroxa here. Like, maybe we can go toe-to-toe with this Baneslayer Angel. They discarded Teferi. Well, that doesn't bode well for a hero. The baffling ended. Do I give up the Earthshaker Khenra to escape this? I think the answer is yes. So I can go land, Rampaging Ferocidon. I can't beat a Settle the Wreckage, so we're not playing around that. Hopefully this is just like Seal Away. We know they have something because they discarded a Teferi last turn. Oh, maybe they're just on lands? That would be good for us. No, they have so much life to gain, right? They have a sweeper? I can still escape Phoenix next turn if they have a sweeper. So, do I pump Phoenix or do I draw a card? I think I want to draw a card, right? Because, like, pumping Phoenix, they're still not dead to Ramunap Ruins, so I think I just want the action. I think if the pump put them dead to Ramunap Ruins, I would pump. But I think because they're not dead to Ramunap Ruins, I want to draw. Hey, Tom Riddle, thanks for checking out the raid sponsor. I appreciate that. This is a real downside. So, if I would have pumped last turn, I'd kill them with Ramunap Ruins in this instance, right? That's something to have thought about, perhaps. Really close game. Can you, like, they gained 10 life from Lyra this game, chat. And we're, like, still sitting here playing a game of Magic with them. Really close game. Hey, Pick Arts, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Especially when you consider, like, look at how many lands we have in play, and look at how many lands they have in play, right? Like, we drew almost twice as many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to their 8. I'm like, they almost assuredly are playing more lands in their deck than we are, right? They cycled 2. They looted 1 and cycled 1. Yeah, and because it was a game of Magic, our close and interesting game was decided by the fact that we didn't draw spells in our last 3 draws. And they did. That's just how Magic goes. Yeah, they gained 10. You don't know how you won that game. Good games, Gilger. I think the fact that you had a little bit more action than me at the end added up. Approximately how long till the God Pharaoh's deck? Like half an hour or so? Drawing over the pump matter? Maybe. I don't know that that's necessarily wrong. Yeah, Kroxa is super, super good. I like this archetype a lot. Like I like aggressive decks that like have card advantage in them as you move into the mid game. I could possibly stand to go up a Black Castle in the mana base too, I think. Yeah, I'm like, data like already murderous righted us. Well, we cut the blue cards. Also, Mire Triton being a 2-drop is really important for curving out a lot of the time. And the fact that this has Death Touch is huge. The Death Touch is very, very valuable. Gaining life also not insignificant. Nah, I'm confident ignoring Teferi was wrong, because if you ignore Teferi, you just get to downtick and tempo my stuff. And like, if I ignore Teferi and then you have a sweeper, I just like lose the game on the spot. Yeah, you need to think of Mire Triton as a 2-1. Think of Mire Triton as a 2-1 for 2 with Death Touch that draws a card. And when you think about it with that stat line, it becomes very good very quickly. Cleave ho! And gain 2. So I think I put this on here, even though I'm missing a point of damage this turn, because getting this to 4 points of toughness when it pumps up makes it harder to kill. And then next turn when we put 3 mana into Night, they're likely to die. Bye, friend. It's probably an Ashiok out matchup. Got a couple of Kroxas. Seems fine. I don't know exactly what they're playing. I guess they're probably playing Soulscar Mage, but I'm leaving Bonecrusher in, so probably don't need Disfigure. The raid, I assume that means the raid link is not working. I'd encourage you, I think someone mentioned they had an issue with their ad blocker because of how the link forwards. But the link's definitely functional. Someone nude in the dark registered 3 minutes ago and is currently working on the tutorial. Death Touch is also very good with Cleave. Yep. Sneaky good. Sneaky good card to put Cleave on. No, thank you for checking out the sponsor. Appreciate the support. Alright, we've got Splinter Twin and Deceiver Exarch here, so... Sorry, I said those backwards. This is Twin, this is Exarch. Double Riddle Form's a little scary, though. They missed their third land, though. Earthshaker, if I'm being honest, Earthshaker Khenra is better than I remembered it too. I was like, oh, this is a good red aggro upgrade, but like, this card's been super impressive in both this deck and the Hell Rider aggro deck we played earlier today. Okay, so we're going to 11 here. If we draw an untapped land, all of our lands are untapped at the moment. Yes, if we draw a land, I think I'm just double Earthshakering. Yeah, Hell Rider was printed into this format via Jumpstart. Yeah, Magic players are stupid, Juka. Thoughts on Mindstone and Esper/Grixis Control? Sure. Listen, if you're playing Esper or Grixis Control, you should just follow your heart and play whatever you want to play. Don't let me or anybody else stop you from doing it. Yeah, I think that's very true, Nick. Fortunately, land issues and bounce spells here are going to be the death of us. If they have a shock here, we're very dead. Or any other spell. I don't know. I'd like to say I'm confident they'd never print Blood Moon into Historic, but like, Teferi Time Raveler was also legal for almost a year and a half, so like, 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. I don't know who I trust, really. We've got some Doomblades, chat. Fingers crossed they play Soulscar Mage or Dorat on 2 here. It's gonna pass for now, because I think I'm holding up a removal spell for this next turn. Well, they added Thoughtseize, but Thoughtseize was always coming. Like, this client is getting Pioneer. Everything that's currently Pioneer legal will eventually be Historic legal. Sans a ban list, obviously. Velcrex, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I think I'm going to wait to play this until I can protect it with a pump the turn I play it. Because, like, if we can protect this from their red removal, it's a very strong threat against them. So, Haba Hut. So what you're making there is a inconclusive jump. So, all of Pioneer being added to Historic does not make Historic and Pioneer the same. Someone looked up the numbers the other night, and there are currently over 200 cards in Historic that are not Pioneer legal, according to Scryfall. So, like, Historic gaining all of Pioneer means Historic is bigger than Pioneer. That's how the numbers work out. Yeah, Wrath of God, Pact of Negation, a bunch of Jumpstart stuff. Yeah, Historic has cards in it that aren't even Modern legal, is true. I am not pumping this again. I'm happy doing 4. Because this way when they Brazen Borrower me, I get to replay it and still hold up a pump on it. I'm a big fan. I really hope Deck and Stone comes to this platform. I think Deck and Stone's a pretty perfect power level. Historic is all of the cards that exist on Arena plus a ban list. That's what Historic is as a format. Historic is all of this stuff, basically. That's the intention of what Historic's supposed to be. I think I'm supposed to just take a card out of their hand here so they can't go too crazy with this. This does expose Knight of the Ebon Legion to a Lightning Strike, but I think that's fine. Because, like, if this dies, I could, like, escape Phoenix or Kroxa sooner. They have another Stormwing? Sure. It's a shame we don't have one more land here, huh? If this was an untapped land, we'd have killed them there. They scryed something to the top, and they're dead. Yeah, I agree, Evil Boss. The fact that Historic will, like, grow in both directions is going to get cards from Magic's history, thus Historic, as well as new sets that are printed, puts it in a really unique spot. I'm actually really excited to see Pioneer Masters get added later this year, because I think it'll be really neat to highlight how, even though the formats will be close, they can still have different metagames. Yeah, I agree, Turnpike Bear. I hope it ends up feeling like a modern-esque format, but one that's missing Chalice and Blood Moon and stuff like that. I think it would be quite perfect. It's basically everything I've ever wanted for Magic, if that's what it ends up being. Alright, I think I just take their Stitcher Supplier here to, like, kill their Enabler. Yeah, I really hope they don't homogenize the ban list. However you pronounce that word, I'm saying it wrong, I'm aware. Because, like, for example, right now, Pioneer has 3 mana Teferi legal, it has Reclamation legal, it has Fires of Invention legal. Like, there are a lot of cards that are banned in this format that are legal in Pioneer. And then the flip side, Field of the Dead is currently banned in Pioneer, but it's legal in this format. They should please ban the combos when they arrive, though. Well, I assume they're just never going to arrive, right, 10-Ton Hammer? Because, like, if the point of Pioneer Masters is to print Pioneer into this format, if cards aren't Pioneer legal, they just won't put them in Pioneer Masters, right? Like, they're not just gonna... The rest of Pioneer is not going to get added to this application via full set releases, right? It's going to get added via things like remasters and master sets, so they just won't print cards that aren't legal. Bonecrusher Giant is so good. Speaking of so good, So, paper magic isn't going anywhere. When people talk about, like, is paper magic getting phased out or worrying about things like this or that, like, anybody who tries to tell you paper magic is disappearing is just very silly. That being said, I could definitely see Wizard support for high-level competitive paper magic get scaled back and eventually disappear. I don't think it's unreasonable to expect that to change. Like, 5 years from now, 4 years from now, I would bet that most of the competitive paper magic stuff that will exist will be things like Star City Games and Nerd Rage Gaming that make their money selling singles on the secondary market. I don't think it really makes sense logistically long term for Wizards to have their stuff not be on Arena, because the coverage for digital tends to be better than coverage for paper on average. Well, I don't even think things like Magic Fests need to go away so much as, like, they'll just have way less there won't be one big tournament, basically. There'll be just that, a festival, right? And you'll have, like, a format challenge. You'll have format challenges on each day instead of one big 2-day tournament. You'll have a bunch of EDH pods and artist stuff and things like that. And they've moved those tournaments more and more towards that. And that's a good thing, in my opinion. They should move away from it being one big event and towards the festival thing. Minajub Flab. I think I got part of that right. Thanks to the brand new tier 1 sub. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Yeah, the Magic Fest will be more about the fest and less about the GP. I think I'm actually going to keep both Ashioks here because they're a Thoughtseize deck, and Ashiok is really good in this matchup. One of the things I've found competitive focused paper magic players often fail to understand is that competitive focused paper magic is a huge minority of paper magic sales. A majority of the people buying paper magic product are casual players that have no idea that this game is a competitive game. Could not care less that a competitive aspect exists. This is a good draw. Is deafness a feature when Raid starts up? Is the volume high? You remember when I said we were keeping the extra Ashiok chat? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Sure. Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion, Chris. You just like have some kind of nominal entry fee to get in the door, and then that nominal entry fee to get in the door gives you a promo and a playmat and stuff like that. There's a matchup where the play draw is different. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I've got non-sub chat enabled this week, so non-subs can get a chance to grab the Raid Shadow Legends link. Anybody that checks out the sponsor and plays through the tutorial using my link will get a sub gifted to them on the channel as a thank you. If we hit that 175 installs by Sunday night, I'm going to add a long stream next week as well. Hey, thanks for the tip, Minnie. Hope you're staying safe out there. Could you build a deck around Chandra, Awakened, Inferno, and Historic? Preferably a big red deck. Yes, definitely. We got Glory Banger added. 10 out of 10 in for a big red build. That's great. Pretty sure we lead on Thoughtseize. We'll go Thoughtseize on 1, Khenra on 2, Khenra Knight on 3. Gate Goblins, eh? Alright, I'm gonna take your Skirt Prospector and your one-lander. You're from New Zealand, lucky duck. What's it like to have competent government? Inquiring minds would like to know. What does it take to move to New Zealand? Well, if you're from the United States, you can't currently get into New Zealand because, you know, competent government and all that jazz. Nude in the Dark, thanks for finishing the raid tutorial and checking out the sponsor. Appreciate it. And Jojabo, thanks for doing it as well. Drop me a DM, folks, and let me know if you'd like a sub gifted or to bump something in the queue. All right, so I'm pretty sure this is a spot removal matchup. This is definitely not an Ashiok matchup. You basically cut Ashiok in any of the aggressive matchups where they're not using their graveyard. So Ashiok stays in against mid-range and control, and matches where Graveyard Hate or Ashiok Static Text is good. Yeah, they should all be the same, Zengoat. Oh, I guess they do have God Pharaoh's Gift. That's kind of slow though, right? Like, I mean, that's a question. That's good. In my head, they were just goblins because they did nothing and died. But you're right. We did see the God Pharaoh's Gift. Huh? Does that change the dynamic? I don't know, chat. Yeah, I agree. I think Abrade and Thoughtseize are probably the better tool there. I trim some of the Kroxa because they're kind of slow. Decks that would Thoughtseize themselves. I don't think there's any decks that would Thoughtseize themselves in this format. You have to have, like, really busted Reanimator cards, like actual factual Reanimate, for that to happen. Maybe. Put a mulligan to 5. This hand's slow, but it has, like, Disfigure in it, so. And I have a Abrade for their God Pharaohs, whatever. Punish a little bit here. So we're just hoping to, like, draw lands for the next couple turns. I'm gonna kill the one that lets Muxus be castable. It's like we got the cool mom in charge doing the parenting and you guys got the crazy uncle. Yep. So this eventually gets their 7 mana thing, so I'm just going to go ahead and Abrade this now before they get value out of it. So it lets them loot every time something dies. You saw them mouse over their castle there. Obviously they forgot it. Thoughts of adding Dreadhorde Butcher to this deck? Alright, land. Put a stop on my upkeep so we can Abrade a blocker. Dang it, Bobby. Oh, what a pit stain. JK. JK! LOL. What interesting and stimulating gameplay. Would like to be on record saying that I don't think the Goblins deck is particularly good, but, like, Winota's banned and that's legal. I don't know. I'm real salty, because I like the Winota deck a lot. And I think the opponent's deck is arguably more obnoxious than it. Yeah, I'm super down to ban both. Like I said, I think you could definitely make an argument to ban Muxus based on a quality of gameplay perspective. I agree. Big agree. No, I think Rotting Regisaur is great. I think especially with Embercleave, Rotting Regisaur wins you a lot of games you're not otherwise winning. That's probably wrong. We're probably not winning this race because I drew a brick here. Like the old mulligan to 5. Yep. Feels magic, man. Yeah, we're mythic. At least our rank doesn't matter at this point. Nah, I don't think that's true, Blue Man. I think that's super tinfoil hatty. In fact, I think there's a good chance that the reason why Teferi's banned in... The reason why Teferi's banned in Historic, but they didn't ban him anywhere else, is in large part because this is my favorite format. Hey, good games, J-Man. Well-born Muse, thanks for taking the time to check out the raid sponsor. Appreciate it. I think, as sad as it makes me to say, I'm pretty sure that this deck being red-black instead of Grixis for my favorite Dragon 4-drop is correct. Yeah. Pretty sure. Pretty happy with it. I don't know that I changed anything. Earthshaker Khenra was really good today. Having more utility lands gives us some nice reach. Having, 11 things for Ashiok to mill over to, like, draw with Ashiok's down tick felt really good. So, all things considered, I like what's going on here a lot. I'm gonna grab these here before I forget about them. So we're gonna get a lot of mileage out of, and a Abrade we're gonna get infinite mileage out of. Alright, at any rate, we are going to... Oh, I have Khenra too. All of my gold is gone, chat. It's all gone. It's all gone. Look at how beautiful it is. It's all gone. Sounds good, Wellborn. At any rate, I'm going to hit a quick ad roll, but don't go anywhere, because we had a very generous donation, so we're going to add a 5th deck today. When I get back, we're going to play some Gate to the Afterlife, God Pharaoh's Gift to ourselves, and there are 4 of these here, not that you can tell by it being almost invisible. So we'll be back in just a bit. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.